Mr. Presiding Judge, in my humble opinion, I think the errors in the investigation data form should be answered by the receiving office, and I think he's not. I mean, hindi siya talaga yung dapat sumagot sa mga katanungan na ibinabato sa kanya ngayon. Mukhang hindi siya really not qualified at sumasablay-sablay itong taon to. Thank you.
Pag-usapan natin itong si witness L0TOK ng prosecutors, parang nako-corner na talaga. Talagang nahihirapan na. At tayo po'y mag-react dito sa ating opinion, ha. Paki-like na lang, paki-share itong video na ito. Sa mga hindi pa nakasubscribe, mag-subscribe na po kayo kasi libre lang po ang mag-subscribe, walang bayad yan. Updated pa kayo dito sa mga impeachment trial dito ng ginaganap itong pagpapa-impeach nila kay VP Sara. Okay? Sige. Without further ado, ay papanoorin natin at mag-react tayo.
2025, sir.
And you attached it to your affidavit of investigation, correct?
As an attachment, sir.
All right, very good. Now, showing you 199 to 200 of Annex G9. Now, this is the Asuncion affidavit. And I'll make a point in a couple of questions, Your Honor. Can you just confirm the date also and if it was attached to your revised affidavit of investigation?
10th day, it appears here, 10th day of February 2025.
All right. So it was attached also to your revised affidavit of investigation.
Assumption. Yes.
All right. Now this is the question. I'm showing you now page 112 of Annex G9, another Kalilong affidavit. Did you also add this to rectify your January 30 affidavit of investigation or the first affidavit of investigation? We have here a soft copy. Affidavit of transcription. Was this also a document that was lacking in your first affidavit of investigation, which you added to your revised affidavit of investigation?
Again, Your Honor, registering my continuing objection as to the relevance of this series of questions that is consuming the entirety of the defense's turn to cross-examine this witness. What's the relevance?
Noted. Same ruling. Witness may answer.
Again?
I-distract kasi ni Ligutan para hindi masyadong mahalata yung inconsistency nitong si L0TOK.
Your Honor,
was this also part of the revised affidavit of investigation to rectify the defects that we highlighted a while ago?
no, there was no rectification, there was no defect. Again, this is part of the compliance given us by the Department of Justice for us to comply.
All right, if you want to use that term. So in other words, after you received the Feb 5 certification, this was also one of the documents that you attached to your revised affidavit of investigation, correct?
I believe so, part of the compliance.
All right.
Sir.
My issue is this. Let me direct your attention to the bottom portion of this affidavit. It says here, in witness hereof, I have... Can you zoom that in? I can't read it. The date is February 3, 2025. Can you zoom that in? So in other words, you are trying to convince this court that when you...
What's the question? What's the question?
This is the question. You're trying to...
Mag-interrupt yung prosecutor na attorney na hindi pa naman siya nire-recognize ni Chis Escudero.
Are you trying to convince this court that you executed this affidavit prior...
Objection, misleading.
He did not execute
He did not.
the
No, sorry. You attached this affidavit prior to the Feb 5, 2025 certification?
Prior to what, Your Honor? February 10?
Okay. You received a certification on February 5, 2025,
Yep.
correct? And you said that you added affidavits after receipt thereof. Now, you mentioned a while ago that this was one of the affidavits that you added, and yet the date came prior to the DOJ certification dated February 5, 2025. Do you confirm this?
I think ang makakasagot po niyan si Agent Kalilong, Your Honor, kasi may mga attachment na kami during the first affidavit na na-include na doon sa mga nire-require ng prosecutor na nandun na. And then nung nag-issue ang prosecutor gaya po ng number 2, the press briefing, sige muna.
Nahihirapan na talaga siya kahit anong paliwanag niya.
Ito, Your Honor, gaya ng Number one, there is no affidavit of the persons who recorded the video entitled BP November 23 Press Con at Batasan through OBS. When in truth and in fact, kasama ho na and-attach na doon yung affidavit of authentication doon sa unang affidavit.
So in other words, you're telling this court that the DOJ made this mistake? That there was no...
Not necessarily, Your Honor. Pwedeng hindi nakita ng prosecutor na naka-attach na yun. Kasi nandun po sa date na January 30 yung execution ng affidavit of authentication.
Your Honor, if before we continue, Your Honor, I'm noticing something, Your Honor, please. The defense is...
Kung ano-anong na-notice nitong siligutan, every time na mag-i-interrupt siya, wala namang laman ang kanyang pag-i-interrupt.
The process has been presenting portions of an alleged document, and they're making notes. Oh, I don't think that's proper, Your Honor. When you present a document, you present the document as is. You don't make annotations.
Exactly, Your
Note
Honor.
Number two, that's not proper, Your Honor.
We are presenting the actual document and we're confronting it. This is just to address, Your Honor, what was intimated by the senators, that they want to be able to follow the discussion, Your Honor, using the screen.
If I may, my problem with that, Your Honor, please, because it's like you presenting your observation on a document and you're showing that to the court when what you're supposed to do is just to confront this witness with a document without any annotations. That's just my observation, Your Honor.
Noted. Counsel, please proceed. For respondent, please proceed.
Meaning, but if you go to the contents, right, it says here, and let me read, the press briefing conducted on October 18, 2024 was not recorded and or stored in a DVD. No video submitted and there was no TSN of the said briefing. And do you confirm now that this note on Feb 5 was actually addressed by the affidavit submitted by Agent Calilo?
What, come again, sir?
This note was satisfied by the submission of the affidavit by Agent Calilo.
What affidavit, sir?
The affidavit of transcription dated February 3.
Tingnan nyo ha, nalilito siya. So ibig sabihin kung nalilito siya, hindi niya pamilyar yung mga dokumento na yan. So ibig sabihin, minamadali ito.
But can I see the affidavit, sir? Para lang sure.
The one that we showed a while ago. It pertains to the same because if you read here, if I may be allowed to read paragraph 1,
Ang point ko dito ba, kahit yung ginawa ni VP Sara, hindi po impeachable yon, no? Pinipilit kasi nila. Yan ang mahirap dyan eh. Pag pinipilit ninyo, magkabulol-bulol kayong mag-explain yan ngayon.
zoom that in. Or no, paragraph 2, it says there, in relation to the ongoing investigation, the undersigned was tasked to transcribe. So this transcribed the screen-recorded video of the press conference of VP Sara on 18 October 2024. So in other words, this was exactly what the DOJ required, correct?
Yeah, based certification na in-issue, ang sabi ng DOJ, the press briefing conducted in October 18, 2024 was not recorded and was stored in a DVD. There was no TSN of the said briefing and the necessary affidavit of the person taking the TSN.
And yet, on its face, this was, because the date is February 3, on its face, this was executed prior to the Feb 5, 2025 certification, which noted this requirement.
As I've said, Your Honor, ang nag-uusap ho dyan ang prosecutor at saka si Agent Calilong, may mga attachment ho kasi nung first affidavit na hindi napansin ng prosecutor, so
that's your answer. Okay. So, but the thing is, if I let's go back to the IDF, investigation data form. Now, the docket number that is indicated here is XVI INV 25C-0008. But in the Feb 5 2025 certification, can we flash that? The docket number is different, appears to be different. It's XVI EVAL-INV 25A-0049. Moreover, in the subsequent DOJ certification dated Feb 14, 2025, the docket number is also XVI.EVAL-INV-25A-0049. Do you confirm the difference in the docket numbers?
Your Honor, no personal knowledge and DOJ ho ang naglagay ng docket number niyan.
But do you confirm that it was different? These are all received copies.
Ask and answer, Your Honor, please. Ask and answer, argumentative.
No, the answer is
Ask
not
and answer,
responsive.
Counsel.
I-interrupt na naman niya.
Still, move on.
So in other words, despite
Diba,
the
napansin nyo? Pag madidihado na, mukhang sablay na yung paliwanag ng kanilang witness. mag-i-interrupt siya para hindi masyadong obvious na parang talaga, sabit na talaga.
Discrepancy in numbers, you still decided to push through with the case.
Correct.
What, Your Honor?
Despite the discrepancy in docket numbers, you still decided to push through with the handling of this case, correct?
Again, I cannot confirm on the numbers because it's the DOJ who placed that number, sir. Ulitin ko, mas maganda ho tanungin nyo ang Department of Justice, sir.
Ay, tayo
But
dyan.
insofar as you are concerned, as you are the complainant in this case, correct? Insofar as you are concerned, what is the correct docket number? Is it the one ending in 0049?
I will now object.
Or
Hindi
is
niya
it
alam.
the one ending in 004?
Nag-object na yung isa. Kasi alam na ni Ligutan na hindi alam ng witness itong tinatanong ngayon ng defense team ni BP Sara.
What they used, Your Honor?
I will now object on the ground of misleading. You showed two docket numbers which
Kita niyo
appear
na?
different. And you have yet to establish that there is a wrong one and a correct one. And you have not established that. This witness said he is not aware of that. You have not established that there is something to be
So
correct.
what's wrong if aaminin ng witness ninyo na hindi niya alam yan? Natatakot kayo. Kasi baka malaman ng taong bayan na yung mga pinanggagawa niyong kalokohan ay medyo sablay, di ba? Kasi wala naman talagang kasalanan si BP Sara dyan. Yung mga ninyo, yan sa tingin ko, binamadali yan para maipasok sa impeachment yan ang point ko dyan
Corrected. That's why the objection now, Your Honor, please. That's
Kaya
misleading.
nagkamali-mali na itong mga pirma, affidavit, itong mga doc.
You assume that something is wrong that has to be corrected. Misleading.
Counsel, witness is not competent to answer your question. He already responded that this is a DOJ form, but he is not aware, and that it might be proper to ask the DOJ instead at the proper time. Move on with another point, Counsel. I think we've unless there's another inconsistency, you can move on to another inconsistency or another point.
Your
Yan binanggit na ang inconsistency.
Just one last on this point. But in terms of what you followed, because as we know, you submit subsequent pleadings as to these two docket numbers. Which one did you follow? The 00048 or the 0049?
Wala siyang alam dyan. Sure na ko niyan.
Well, I don't have the record here, Your Honor. If I can check my own record.
Do you have it
Can
with
you
you
do
now?
that now?
Counsel, can you give him a copy of his record?
Yung full record. Tingnan ko. Yeah.
The chair finds that relevant because in filing additional pleadings or other materials to the DOJ, they need to indicate the NPS number for reference. So which one are you following? Which one did you follow subsequent to this?
Yes, sir. Wala ho rito, sir. Teka. Ang naalala ko, sir, yung sa investigation data form, dated February 11.
Ano pong nakalagay na NPS docket number doon? Meron po ba?
Yun po, sir, ang hindi ko, Your Honor, hindi ko po ma-confirm kung anong NPS
Patay ka dyan.
docket number. Ito ba yun?
Tanungin mo sarili mo.
Your Honor, may we just manifest for the record that the witness is perusing the IDF investigation data form that is attached to the articles of impeachment, Annex G9.
So noted.
Well, this is the document from the defense, Your Honor. I cannot confirm, Your Honor. As of the
Move on,
moment, I
Counsel.
cannot confirm.
But this is as received, correct? So in other words, you just received the document and you didn't bother to...
Argumentative.
To check.
Objection.
Counsel, let him finish, but indeed it is argumentative. Move on to the next question, Counsel. With the permission of Senator Judge Tulfo, are you winding up or not yet, Counsel? Not yet?
Far from it, Your Honor.
Then Senator Judge Tulfo is recognized. What is the pleasure of Senator Judge Tulfo?
Just manifestation,
You may
Mr.
proceed, sir.
Presiding Judge. And question as well. Mr. Witness,
You have 2 minutes.
okay. Mr. Witness, a lot of questions were asked to you regarding the filing with the Office of the DOJ, in particular, regarding the docketing, dating, subscription for an investigation data form. Now, can you tell this court what exactly is your role and what did you do in relation to the filing of this investigation data form? Ano yung pinaka-role mo talaga dito?
I
Yung
instruct-
papel mo talaga dito?
Yes, Your Honor.
Kini-question na siya ni Raffy Tulfo. Kasi pati itong si Raffy Tulfo nagtataka. Ang daming tanong, hindi niya masasagot. Instead, na ini-expect nating alam niya ito eh.
I instructed the executive officers as well as the agent on case to file our referral to the Department of Justice. So sila na ho ang nag-ayos niyan, sir, insofar as the
Hugas
investigation
kamay.
data form, insofar as other requirements. Ang instruction ko is comply with the requirement given by the Department of Justice, and then you submit it, and then kung ano yung kanilang guidance, you comply with it.
Okay, Mr. Presiding Judge, in my humble opinion, I think the errors in the investigation data form should be answered by the receiving office, and I think he's not hindi siya talaga yung dapat sumagot sa mga katanungan na ibinabato sa kanya ngayon. Mukhang hindi siya really not qualified at sumasablay-sablay itong taon to. Thank you.
Noted. Senator Judge Erwin Tulfo, thereafter Senator Judge Alan Cayetano.
Quick question, Mr. Presiding Officer, to the witness and
You
to
have 2
the
minutes, sir.
prosecution or prosecutor here. Mr. Witness, kailan ba talaga finale itong kaso laban kay VP?
Yung una na affidavit po, Your Honor, nag-file kami January 30, if I'm not mistaken.
Taon po, anong taon?
2025, sir.
2025.
And then nag-require po ang Department of Justice ng compliance dahil sabi nga nila nung una na certification insufficient for conduct of preliminary investigation and must be referred for a case build-up. Now, ang ginawa po namin, kinumply po namin yung kanilang mga requirements, and then come 11 February 2025, niresubmit po namin yung aming affidavit of investigation, Your Honor.
Nasa ano po itong kaso? Na isampa na po ba ng DOJ o hindi pa?
I think ongoing po ang preliminary investigation.
1 year, preliminary. 1 year, over 1 year. January to January is 1, February, March, April, May, June, July. Is that normal for the DOJ to conduct a preliminary about over a year, Mr. Witness?
Di ko po.
Nagtatanong ka pang normal, yung gobyernong ito abnormal eh.
Po masasagot, sir.
Hindi ninyo
Sorry.
masagot.
Sir,
Could it be, hindi po kayo nagtatanong sa kanila,
Hindi
Sir,
pala gobyerno, administrasyon, abnormal.
ano problema? Bakit hindi po pa naisasampa sa korte yung aming isinampang kaso dito sa inyo? Hindi ko kayo nagtataka?
Ang alam ko, sir, Your Honor,
No, hindi kayo nagtanong po sa kanila kung bakit? May kulang pa po ba DOJ? Ano pong kakulangan?
Pag ang referral po, Your Honor, is nasa DOJ na, hands off na ho kami doon. Sila ho ang magde-decide noon kung paano nila ipoprocess yung dokumento.
Kaya nga, hindi po kayo nagtataka. Hindi kaya, sir, dito sa mga nakita po natin mga ebidensya rito, mukhang sablay-sablay, parang minadali ho ninyo. Ay kaya nagkakaproblema ho tayo sa mga korte natin na i-dismiss sa mga kaso dahil kulang ang mga dokumento at parang minadali. But nevertheless, you don't have to answer me that. Let me direct my question now to the prosecutors. Mr. Prosecutor,
Yes.
ito po mga ebidensya na nakita ho natin, hindi pa ninyo ni-review na may mga nakita, hindi nyo nakita itong inconsistencies. Doon nga po sa sinasabi ng defense na pinirmahan, sinubscribe, pero mas maaga yung ika nga pagtanggap.
Your Honor, as to whether we perused that, Your Honor, please. Unfortunately, we were not party to the preparation of this.
No, but this was
documents.
submitted
Yes, Your Honor.
as evidence, right?
Yes, Your Honor,
Correct.
please. Yes, Your Honor, please. That's why this
Pero-
witness is more than competent to answer that. But the main point of the prosecution, Your Honor, please, they already filed and complied with these requirements and addressed these defects, if you may, by filing a February 10, 2025 affidavit investigation. That's why, if you have observed our good Senator Judge, we have been objecting as to the relevance of this. Exactly because what is in contention now is the latest affidavit of investigation that is now pending before the DOJ, Your Honor, please.
All right. And just a quick manifestation to the NBI. Mr. Witness, next time po pag nagsampaho kayo ng kaso, make sure, kaya nga I was asking you kanina, I already have this feeling, something is wrong, dahil sobrang tagal na sa DOJ ng kaso ninyo, there's something wrong with the case. Siguro po, next time, make sure na yung kaso isasampa ninyo is airtight. Tama po. Kasi madidismiss yan. Yung mga kaso na medyo hindi po tight talaga ang kaso. Ano po?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sayang naman yung inyong pinaghirapan. Doon, ang dami natin nakita. Totoo po taglang na nagmura ang vice-presidente, nagbanta ang vice-presidente. Sangayon naman po ako, nakita ko naman po yun. Pero pagdating po yan, usually pag sa technicalities tayo nagkakaproblema. Don't forget that.
Yes, Your Honor.
Quick manifestation.
Thank you.
Mr. Presiding Officer.
Noted, Senator Judge Erwin Tulfo. Senator Judge Alan Cayetano, you have 2 minutes, sir.
Less than 2 minutes, quick clarification lang. So January 30, yung unang affidavit of investigation.
Yes,
Tama?
sir.
January 30, tapos February 5, yun yung sagot ng DOJ na may 7 notes.
Yes, Your Honor.
At February 5, yun din ang filing nung impeachment complaint against against Vice President Sara Duterte. And then, which you said wala kang knowledge doon. I'm just looking at the dates. Then February 10, yung revised na dun sa mga ang ginamit ng DOJ word insufficiency, yung 1 to 7 na punuan, no? Or whatever the term is. So, ang sagot ng witness, sir, sagot mo yung February 3, baka attachment lang kasi nung una yon.
Yes, sir, I think so.
Pero hindi siya pwedeng attachment nung una kasi January 30 sinubmit yun eh. So, hindi ka naman pwede mag-submit ng January 30 na attachment mo February 3. So, you went 3 days into the, or 4 days into the future kasi may 31 yung January.
Well, sir, siguro ang makakasagot po niyan si Agent Calilong, sir, since siya ang signatory doon.
I don't think you can answer it. Point ko lang, hindi logical na it was an attachment sa January 30 because wala pang February 3 nun eh. So hindi pwedeng post-dated affidavit. Second question lang, sa parehong investigative affidavit of investigation na sinubmit, walang input doon ang PSG, ISAF, PSC, ISAF, CIDG. So kayo lang yan.
A statement, Your Honor, yung in-attach po namin.
Yes. So what I meant is that questions kanina nung many here, including the Senate President Win Gatchalian na did you consult the investigation ng PSC, etc. So nung final nyo to, walang input directly or indirectly ang Presidential Security Command, ang ISAF, ang PNP, CIDG, and anyone else, the National Security Council. So purely NBI to.
No personal knowledge kung merong correspondence ng ibang agency with the director.
Sorry, hindi kayo pwedeng walang personal kasi ikaw nag-file eh. Ikaw nakapirma dun sa affidavit. So you would know whether dun sa affidavit na yon they had input or not. No
Yes,
one
Your
else
Honor.
could know because you're the one who signed it.
Yes, Your Honor. Insofar the Cybercrime Division is concerned, kami po yun yung gumawa
Yes.
noon.
So the answer is they had no input.
Hindi ko alam kung... well, insofar as the affidavit is concerned, amin po yun, Your Honor. Now, kung correspondence between other agencies and the NBI, hindi ko na po alam kung may usapan
Okay.
yung
Thank you.
director
Thank you,
at saka ibang
Mr. Presiding Officer. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Judge Cayetano. Senator Judge Ontiveros. Thereafter, Senator Judge Ejercito. Am I correct, JV? Senator Judge Ontiveros is recognized and may proceed. You have 2 minutes, ma'am.
Salamat po, Mr. Presiding Officer. Less than 2 minutes din po. Attorney L0TOK, sa gitna ng DOJ certification dated February 5, 2025 at yung pag-submit nyo ng kumpletong affidavit of investigation na tinanggap na ng DOJ, may nagbago po ba sa di umanong sinabi ng Vice Presidente?
Wala po, Your Honor.
Wala. At sa gitna ng DOJ certification dated February 5, 2025,
Dito halata si Hontiveros, no? Na ang kanyang punto po dito ay parang ipamukha niya na walang kasalanan itong witness na ito. Okay?
at yung pag-submit nyo ng kumpletong affidavit of investigation na tinanggap na ng DOJ, may nagbago po ba sa rekomendasyon ng NBI?
Wala po, Your Honor.
Salamat po, Attorney L0TOK. Salamat po, Mr.
Thank you,
President.
Senator.
Diba? May mga tanong si Hontiveros na parang pa-safe sa para ma-safety ang witness. Okay? Kasi obvious naman ito, bias naman ito eh. Naging senator judge yan nandyan, pero alam na natin kung ano ang kanyang final decision dyan pag magbotohan na.
Judge Ontiveros, Senator Judge Ejercito, you may proceed, sir. When you're ready, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. Attorney L0TOK, may
Opo, Your Honor.
dagdag clarification lang. The DOJ pointed out in its certification, yung pong pinakita kanina, noong February 5, 2025, that the NBI is not the proper offended party to file a complaint for grave threats and referred its initial referral for case build-up. As a result of the referral for case build-up by the DOJ, did the NBI later submit affidavits or statements from the offended parties, namely si Presidente Marcos, First Lady, at si former Speaker Martin Romualdez?
Hindi na po, Your Honor. Nung sinabit ho namin yung aming referral, Yun po yung last phase ng investigation. And I think yung prosecutor na ho mag-i-issue ng summons sa mga parties involved. Ang purpose lang ho namin to comply with the requirements of preliminary investigation po.
But earlier sa inyo pong statement, sinabi nyo na ang isa sa mga factors no sa pag-evaluate ng threat, if it is really serious, is through determination of the relationship no between the parties. Sinabi niyo po yun kanina.
Yes po, Your Honor.
So did you try at least to get the statements of the President, the First Lady, or the House of the Speaker of the House, former Speaker?
Ang pinagbasihan po namin, Your Honor, yung official statement nila dun sa website ng Presidential Communications Office, and then yung public statement ng former Speaker during the plenary session on November 25, 2024, sir.
So that was the basis yung pong nasa PCO website. So you did not bother to get the statements from the offended parties.
TV lang sila nagbabase. Ang daming lapses nitong mga witness na ito, tsaka ang mga ebidensya nila.
I think nung nakita ko namin yung video na nag-issue ng statement yung presidente, na-establish ko namin yung requirement kung ano yung treatment ng presidente nung marinig niya yung utterances ng vice presidente. So, nung nakita namin yon na may reaksyon, ang sabi nga niya is nakakabahala. Based sa aming primary jurisdiction, nag-start to kami ng investigation, sir.
Kanina rin, tinanong ko yung tungkol doon sa revised affidavit of investigation, no? Which you submitted after the DOJ referred to the case for case build-up in its certification doon nga sa February 5, 2025. You mentioned that is just a compliance on the part of the NBI.
Your Honor, ito ho yung part ng evaluation at saka case build-up process. Pag nakita ho ng prosecutor na may kulang pang mga attachment para ho mabuo, maging pulido yung kaso, nagbibigay ho sila ng mga requirement. O NBI, kulang ka nito, i-comply mo to para maidakit natin sa preliminary investigation.
So normal lang po yun, no? Sa investigation agency na magsabit additional evidence or revise the affidavits after the case is referred back by the DOJ for case build-up.
As part po ng evaluation at case build-up process, nagtutulungan ho dyan, Your Honor, yung prosecutor and then yung investigator base doon sa requirement ng DC-15, Your Honor.
You mentioned that, last point, Mr. Presiding Officer, you mentioned that the case before the DOJ is still ongoing.
Yes po.
So as of today, Attorney L0TOK, there is still no determination by the DOJ if the case referred by the NBI should be filed in court because there is prima facie evidence of reasonable certainty of conviction.
Well, Your Honor, wala pa po kaming nare-receive na any updates from the Department of Justice. Ang alam po namin is nasa PI pa ho siya, preliminary investigation process, Your Honor.
Thank you, Attorney L0TOK. Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Thank you po, Your Honor.
Noted and entered into the records. Attorney Binluan, you may continue with your cross.
Your Honor, I believe that there's a hanging question. Insofar as the NBI is concerned, what docket number did they follow? 00048 or
What's the response
0049?
of the witness if he knows?
Your Honor, I don't have the complete affidavit. So I cannot confirm, sir.
Ay, ano ba yan?
So you do not know what NPS docket number the NBI is using whenever it files subsequent pleadings to the NBI to the DOJ regarding this case?
Definitely there is that IDF, there is that NPS. Hindi ko lang po, Your Honor, ma-ensure kung anong NPS number po yun.
Ang ginagamit ninyo?
Ang ginamit. Pero nandoon po yun, Your Honor. Naka-attach po yun sa affidavit of investigation.
Proceed, counsel.
So you cannot confirm which between the two.
As at the moment, hindi ko po hawak yung...
Yeah, but what if we show you, as I said, what if we show you the certification dated February, two certification, can you be guided?
Ask an answer, Your Honor.
Counsel, he already
what's-
looked at the
what's the
documents earlier before the senator judges intervened, and he couldn't. Mr. Witness, Mr. Attorney L0TOK, what document did you peruse earlier? The annex to the impeachment complaint, right?
Annex to the...
That was the document shown to you by counsel for the respondent earlier.
Yes, Your Honor.
Upon your perusal of that document, can you say what the NPS docket number is that NBI uses?
Your Honor, isa lang ho ang nandito na IDF. So isa lang yun nandito, Your Honor. Hindi ko makita yung isa pa. Ang nandito na naka-attach na IDF, is yung 11 February 2025. So kung ito ho ang tinutukoy, ang nakasulat ho rito na NPS docket number 16-INV-25C-00048, Your Honor.
Your Honor, the certifications, the two certification also has docket numbers. Can we just ask him to peruse this so that he can make up his mind which of the two docket numbers they followed?
Then confront him with the document, counsel.
Your Honor, we are
what is your co-counsel showing him?
We are showing the document February 5 and February 14, which, as I mentioned, contains 0049 as the ending docket number. Maybe just know, Your Honor, if that was the docket number that was followed by the NBI following the filing.
Counsel,
I have-
counsel, before you answer, Attorney L0TOK, counsel, the first form, can you bring it up again? That's not an investigation form, right? That's a DOJ form.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, this is a receiving copy, Your Honor, because all of these were subpoenaed again from the NBI but not from the DOJ. So these were transmitted to the House Committee on Justice by subpoena. So
By
in other,
who? The NBI?
submitted by the NBI. That's correct, Your Honor. And this was the basis that was used by the House Committee on Justice in filing the articles of impeachment before this impeachment court. So in other words, Your Honor, the agencies involved herein are just for the DOJ test certification that you received from the DOJ.
Your Honor, yung nandito na pinapakita sa akin is yung certification from the DOJ 05 February 2025 and investigation data form dated February 11, 2025.
So which is which, Attorney L0TOK? Is it 00049 or 48? The earlier one or the later?
I have here the second second certification from the DOJ which says sufficient for conduct of preliminary investigation, reference number 16 -EVAL-INV-25A-00049, sir.
So the 49 is the latest one and is thus valid. Is
Yeah,
that
I
what
believe
you're
so.
saying?
Ito yung may sufficient for
All right. Okay. Now, let me direct your attention to the subpoena issued against the Vice President on April 29, 2025. This is the subpoena. And the issue is that the docket number is 0048. In other words, the VP Sara was made to answer to the earlier case that was docketed as such. Do you confirm this? You were part of this, correct? As the complainant.
Your Honor, can I object now, Your Honor, please? If I may, Your Honor, please.
What's the objection?
If I may, I will explain. Your Honor, I would like to object, Your Honor, please. This witness is incompetent because he is now being confronted with docket numbers supplied by agencies other than him.
If he knows, Your Honor, he was
exactly.
the complainant. Your Honor, he
Counsel-
was the supervising agent. It says
Counsel,
there
this is a
complaint-
DOJ document. Objection is sustained. Witness is not competent to answer these questions. You can call your witness to testify as to these documents belonging to the DOJ. Kindly move on, counsel. We've been at this for quite some time.
I'll move on. My next question is, the NBI's own evaluation is merely recommendatory in nature, correct?
yes, Your Honor, recommendation.
Okay. It is not binding upon the DOJ, correct?
The DOJ will assess, Your Honor, and evaluate.
All right.
the
But it's not
recommendation.
Kindly
binding upon the DOJ.
No,
answer the question,
All right.
Attorney L0TOK. You're a lawyer. You know the answer to this question.
yes, sir.
It's not binding upon the courts, correct?
If the DOJ
Your
report-
recommendation, it's not binding upon the courts, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So in Filipino, para maintindihan ng lahat, kahit sabihin ng NBI,
Ask and answered, Your Honor. Ask and answered.
Kahit
He's just
sabihin ng
translating
NBI na may
into
grave-
objection.
The-
He's just translating
the question
into
is not yet-
but the same question.
all right, kahit sabihin ng NBI na may grave threats or inciting to sedition, it is not binding upon the DOJ, correct?
Ask and answered.
The question earlier was with respect to the courts.
Correct, Your Honor.
Insofar as the DOJ is concerned, Mr. Witness,
Insofar as the DOJ is concerned, the DOJ will evaluate and pag kulang pa ho yung mga
the
requirement,
question is are your findings binding on the DOJ?
not necessary, Your Honor.
So no.
No. All right. So in other words, rekomendasyon lang ang kayang ibigay ng NBI, correct?
Ask and answered.
Ask and answered,
all right.
counsel.
In fact, you attended hearings before the House Committee on Justice in April of this year, correct?
I think so. Nag-appear ako.
You
Hindi ko lang
appeared,
sigurado
okay.
kung anong date yun.
Okay.
Your Honor, I would like to object to this, Your Honor, please. Your Honor, this
As an
witness-
answer, Your Honor.
No, wait.
Can I move on
He's
to
being
the point?
confronted
Counsel,
with.
kindly wait for the
Your Honor,
counsel.
this is
for the
highly
prosecutor.
improper. This could fly if this is a committee of justice hearing, but this, with all due respect, is still a court of law. You cannot present clippings like that and confront the witness with that. That's not proper. You should be presenting documents. You cannot do props. Your Honor, please, this is highly irregular. Ask questions, elicit facts from this witness. Don't use props.
Can I get